What are your biggest challenges that you've got? I heard some of the concerns. What are your biggest challenges? Then we're going to get into commitments. Then we're going to get into complaints. Yeah. What are your biggest challenges? No challenges. Okay. Please. Thank you, Christian. Yeah.
Christian George, Nexus Consulting. One of the challenges I have is to keep myself into the mood of transformational process, if you will.
Yeah.
To keep myself up, with energy.
Yes.
And then the other one.
All right, let's work with that one for a moment. See, what you said was something, so what you said was how you keep yourself in the mood for transforming and transformation. Yeah. It all depends on the future you're living into. You see, most of us are not living into a very compelling future. And all of us in here are living into different futures. You see, Giselle was living into a different future, you see. The woman who had that restaurant was living into a different future called, I'd be lucky if I could ever get to 40, I should sell it now and get out. Yeah, that's right. So the future you're living into is what shapes who you're being and your actions in the present. That's a big statement. See, most people think it's their past that shapes who they're being, their mood, in the present. See, is there a lottery here, Dan? Okay, good. So let's say, Christian, you bought a lottery ticket, right? What's the most amount that you could get at the lottery here?
4 million euros.
Okay, 4 million euros. I know that you don't need it, but it might come in handy. But let's say right now you found out you won. Like on the break, your wife called, or whoever you have your life with, and says, Christian, you know that ticket you bought? Now it's, we won, right? Okay, good. How would you be being right now knowing that you're allowed on Friday to go get the money? What would that be like for you right now? Would you be sad, upset? Would you be here? Please. Yeah.
I'll continue to do what I'm doing now.
You continue to do what you're doing, and what else?
Well, besides completing some of
You complete some things.
from the past.
Great. You complete some issues from the past.
That you can do with the help of the money.
Yeah.
Maybe help others.
You might help others. So the point is, even though you can't pick it up, the money, until Friday, it already begins to shape who you're being and your actions in the present. So I like using that so that you could begin to see we're always living into some kind of future. The question is it a future that will allow you to continuously alter your mood to keep transforming? You see? That's the question. And you got to begin to take a look. Well, what is the future I'm living into right now? For most of us, we're living into a predictable future. That will put you to sleep. That will put us to sleep. If you're not living into a future that has you at risk, if you're not living into a future, I don't mean like, reckless. I don't say do what I did in Colombia, but that's my idea of a good time. You see? Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, that's a big part of transformation is getting complete with the future you were going to live into, that past, present, future, get it behind you, and then to begin to live into a new future. Yeah, and that future is going to shape your moods. That future, the Japanese have a saying, fall down 8, get up 9. Maybe there's a Romanian one too. Yeah, but you see, but it's like that. See, I don't mind failing. I mean, it's not my idea of a good time, but I do enjoy the learning from it, and that's important in the journey. Yeah, good. Who else? Please. Nolan, yeah.
You know, one challenge is attracting my company's global investment to Romania, and that's
Yeah.
been a pretty significant challenge.
Yeah. No, that's very good. You see, the question becomes, what's the future you're enrolling them in? You see, if they read the news, they get lots of information about it, and then they ask you, what do you see? If you're living into a future here that for them would be worth investing in, you got a better shot at it. If you're enrolling them in just the circumstances that are here, and maybe some minor opportunities, well, it won't sound too compelling. But you can invent a future that doesn't now exist here. And I don't mean living in a pipe dream either. I mean an invented future, a created future. If you don't get it, if you don't generate a created future, they could only see the future you give them. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, good. What else? Anybody else? Challenges? Okay, let's look at commitments. What are your commitments? Now that's distinct from your concerns and your challenges. What are your commitments? What are you committed to? See, how I know who I'm meeting, who I'm engaging with, it doesn't take long, and you could just find out, here's what I'm committed to. You could walk in this room and say, hi, my name is Tim, I'm with UPS, and this is what I'm committed to. Boy, that presence is a lot in a short amount of time. So what are you committed to?
Somebody has to go first. So
Good, Tim, thank you.
one of the commitments that, well, let's perhaps go one step back. When I work for UPS, and when UPS gives you an assignment as a country manager or general manager, they ask you, what is your commitment? What are you going to make as a difference in the country you're going to be assigned to?
Great, I like that.
I've been around a few countries, so I have the benefit of having worked in different geographic locations.
Yes.
And my commitment, and it's almost the same every time where I go, is to kind of actually, in a nice way, inspire my management that one day when they move on, that they leave behind a legacy. So the legacy is kind of like what I would like to commit to them, and to say, okay, if I go, I would like to be remembered for being the guy that, for instance, opened a new facility, opened a new gateway, increased salary by whatever percent higher than the average run rate. Those are kind of the commitments that I'm looking for, but more importantly, it's the change of mentality that I want to inspire my people to do when I go, that they become those type of managers.
Great, great, and you can hear that's a big commitment. Yeah, great. Who else? What are you committed to? Please, and then we'll go over. Yes, we'll get both of you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Oana. I'm working for Amrop, and I'm committed to develop the talent market in Romania.
A talent market.
Yes, we are working in executive search.
Oh, got it, yeah.
And from our perspective, it's important to have the right people as a CEO in the company, and also we are looking for the Romanians abroad. It's important to have them back to develop the talent market in Romania.
Great, great. Thank you. Who else? Yes. Just over there. Thank you. Yeah. What are you committed to?
We operate in communication consultancy, and we deal with many multinational companies or big companies. So we're advising CEOs and communication or corporate affairs managers. And our commitment is to advise them with competence, with candor, which is not very easily digested, and with integrity, of course.
Great.
It makes it doesn't make an easy life.
Yes.
It doesn't make for easy conversations.
Yes.
But on the other hand, our satisfaction is that we have very long-term relationships with our clients, and that's all it matters. If we help drive forward their businesses, that has the greatest value.
Great. Without integrity, nothing's going to work. It just doesn't work without integrity. And without integrity, there's no transformation. I discovered that early on working with different clients. And you can have a commitment to integrity. It's not about being perfect with it. But if there's no foundation of integrity, forget about participating in anything of transformation. You could do change, but not transformation. Yeah, that's great. Okay, good. Anybody else? Yes, please. The foundation, yeah.
Yes, I think I'm committed to my family, to my child and
Yeah, okay,
my
good.
family.
Yeah.
But I'm also committed to the people that we help, to the beneficiaries. I'm committed to do the best I can to help as good as I can and to help as many people as I can. That drives me every day.
Great.
Thinking about how I can do better.
Great, and that's what you're committed to.
Yep.
Great. Okay, good. So you got a sense. If you went around the room, you'd hear more commitments, yes? Okay, good. You ready for the next one? I'm inviting you very specifically to look at what is your most persistent complaint. What do you complain about the most? This is going to be the moment of transformation, by the way. See, what's your biggest complaint? And Anka, we're going to have to eventually get somebody to get this on the computer. And I'm going to ask somebody to work with me as we work through the complaint. How do you transform the biggest complaint you've got?
This one may
Yeah.
go on for quite a long time, but
Yeah,
anyway,
all of you, yeah.
There's a certain degree of environmental volatility. Sort of legislation is brought forward very quickly and potentially not with a lot of thought
Yes.
that goes into it. So what it has is an impact on the business environment that's negative for companies.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest complaints that I.
So, but tell me the actual complaint. Now you're talking about the complaint, so I want you to actually, what is the actual wording of the complaint? Just, like when you get together with a buddy and you're having a beer and you say,
Too much volatility.
there's too much volatility. Okay, good. Let's work with that. Because I want you to get something here. There's too much volatility. Okay, good. That's a good one. I'm going to come back to Nolan. You're willing to work with me on that? Sure. Okay, good. What other complaints do you have? Most persistent. Do you know why something persists as a complaint? Do you know why a complaint persists over time? What's that? It's not solved. Okay, we're going to look at it from a different perspective. Okay, it's not solved is why it persists. Yes, please.
Hi, my name is Gabriel Aftini. I wear two hats today. One as a small business owner and secondly as a vice president of an NGO.
Right.
And my biggest complaint is accountability and the schizoid behavior of most people.
Okay, good. So now you're, put it in your actual complaint. If you were with somebody that you hang out with, you'd say, give them when you stand in line and the person has in training, at a store, and you're in a hurry. You turn to the person behind you, you start complaining like it's your best friend on the planet. Yeah.
I think that people do not want to stick to what they're saying, and that creates the volatility that my colleague was saying.
People don't want to...
They have an opinion, and when somebody comes in with a different opinion, they consider that they have to change their opinion.
Okay, good. So my complaint is...
So it's not the fact...
My complaint
we
is...
do not walk the walk, practically.
Okay, people don't walk the walk?
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Maybe there are people in the room that complain that the city is dirty, but they throw things on the floor.
Yes, that's what we do.
That's...
Yeah, got it. Okay, good.
Clearly, there is an order of priority on things, and the volatility and these things are very, very important. A connected one is the habit of a culture which is risk adverse more than others, to apply what is called the reverse delegation.
Okay, so your complaint is...
The complaint is that it's related to the accountability, if you like, is that whenever you can shift the decision to a higher level in the organization, you'll do it.
Okay, but wait, I think the complaint is people are risk adverse?
People are risk... Yeah, you can put it this way.
Is that the complaint that you've been saying for a while?
Yeah. I would say that the risk-adverse attitude.
The risk-averse attitude.
It's
But
it's
people
the best
are-
way to put it. But what happens in real life? I mean, what you
Yes.
tell to the guy in the queue
Yes.
is that why the hell they come back to me with the problem and they think that the problem is solved just by having referred it to me, rather than coming with some options in order to overcome.
Okay,
the
so
problem.
all that-
is the so-called reverse delegation. As long as you can delegate your boss
Yes.
or whatever is online,
Yes.
then you are discharged.
Got it. So my complaint is, in one little
complaint is,
simple sentence. People don't, or
Phrase
somebody
it.
does, what? People are not responsible? No,
Yeah, I don't want to be black and white because I don't want to put myself on a pedestal and say everybody's irresponsible except me. That's not the reality. But what I'm saying is that there is, if I compare this with, other countries where I've lived, typically in the UK or so,
Yes.
the average attitude is different. There, the leader is the one who has most of the questions. Here, the leader is the one who has most of the answers,
Yes.
which is not normal in leadership terms.
got it. So is it about attitude?
Guy in the queue, I don't know.
Hang on, what's your first name? Roberto. Oh, Roberto, that's right, we got the same name. So, is the complaint something about people's attitude?
Yes.
Okay, what's the complaint? Now say what the complaint is about the attitude. People, something, something, something. You got it? Okay, good.
Yeah, because I want to say something similar.
Okay, good.
I also heard proactivity. Maybe I'm biased in what I'm referring as my main complaint, but in a country where we are saying there is too much volatility, potential, things to change.
Okay, hang on, I like that one. There's too much volatility.
We said.
Oh, we got that
Yeah,
one.
we got
Okay,
it.
good.
So
I knew I heard it before.
my complaining is because of all of that, because
Yes.
we have so much intelligent, clever people in this country, I complain about the fact that sometimes I see complacency, which can be a kind of synonym of not being enough.
There's so
proactive
much complacency?
Or waiting for answers more than questions.
So is the complaint, there's so much...
I'm not accepting complacency in an environment which,
I understand you're not accepting it, but your complaint
I'm
is...
complaining for it.
You're complaining about it.
Yeah.
And the complaint is, there's so much complacency?
So I cannot quantify so much. I would say that because of the environment we're talking about,
Yes.
complacency should be less accepted here than in other places eventually.
Okay, that's a polite way of saying it. I got it. Okay, did you get that? He didn't want to say that there's so much complacency. People are complacent. People are complacent. Okay, good. I just want to get a couple more. I just want to get this
Robert.
present in the room. Yeah.
Just one very quick comment. I'll tell you why this exercise is very helpful. It makes me somewhat uncomfortable.
Yeah,
for one
good.
reason. And it makes me uncomfortable because, as someone says, if you try not to complain for 24 hours, your life gets better.
That's true.
And I can prove it's true because I go in and out of that mental attitude.
Yes.
It doesn't make those problems disappear.
Yes.
But it changes your attitude towards those which are sometimes cultural characteristics.
Yes.
I mean, the Soviets brought down a Korean jumbo because of that reverse delegation.
That's right.
Nobody wanted to take the responsibility to say, well, this button shouldn't be pressed because the boss was not there. Go into the history and you will see it.
Yeah.
It's a part of the cultural attitude that with different shades of gray we see in the whole Central Eastern Europe and all countries which went through very authoritarian regimes. But I feel uncomfortable because I don't want to keep on complaining. It doesn't bring me forward.
Yeah, no, see, even though you know you don't want to complain, you still do it. Yeah, because there's a distinction we're working on here. So, can I work with Nolans in the room? There's too much volatility. Is that okay? Okay, good. So now I'm going to distinguish the distinction we're working on. We've got the persistent complaint. Okay, Eric, you good? Okay, good. So we call it a racket. Now that's a made-up term. Do you ever see the movies? The front of there's a nice restaurant in the front and the back, they're doing racketeering? That may not happen in Romania. But I know when we distinguished this in Colombia, they didn't have a word for it, which I found interesting. Racketeering. How do you say racketeering here? Yeah, a racket.
It's the same thing.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good. So now, there's a couple of components to a racket. You need a persistent complaint, plus you need what we call a fixed way of being. So if this is the complaint, there's too much volatility. If this is the complaint, who are you being in the face of it? You see? We're always languaging futures. So if you are that there's too much volatility as a persistent complaint, that's the future you're living into. Who are you being in the face of that future? Are you happy, Nolan? Are you what? What would you say?
Well, I think it depends on the degree of the complaint, if it's a big issue or a small issue. But if it's a big issue, then someone should be unhappy as a result of it.
Unhappy, great. So we're going to make sure we capture that. So you can see that the persistent complaint plus the unhappy go together. So we're saying those combined make up a racket. Now, how do you transform that, Roberto? You see, now we want to transform this. Watch. So, Eric, you ready? Big screen? Okay. Thanks. Okay. So, rackets have a persistence over time. Now, how long have you been here? How many years or
Close
weeks?
to 2 years.
Close to 2 years. And how long did you hear this complaint that there's too much volatility before you got here?
I did, but
Okay,
I was actually in a more volatile country before. So
Yes. No, I'm not surprised. Yeah, but it's interesting. You know, when we hire somebody, you know, they join our company. People go up to that person and say, "Hey, Christian, thanks for joining the company, but I want you to know, you know, we have a lack of resources here, but thanks for joining the company." In that moment, they begin walking around with this little cup called, well, I don't know if it's true, but let me go find evidence. And they will find evidence for we lack resources. Same thing with volatility. Okay. So there's all kinds of rackets we could have. There's, you know, the Romanian rackets, you know, but I listen as I travel to different parts of the country. This region complains about, that region complains about. Does that happen? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. There's government rackets here. You got a lot of government rackets. We worked with a company here in Bucharest, and they're all over the country, and they had the biggest racket with the government. And the moment they got complete with that racket, I'm not kidding you, the phone rang and something had transformed. The moment they got complete with it, something altered outside of them. So government rackets, industry rackets. You know how you have, pharma has a big industry racket. It's not what it used to be. Or something else. Yeah. You could have your own organization, CEO rackets. You could have customer rackets. All kinds of different rackets. Okay, good. So rackets keep people, and I'm using the term being responsible, different than accountable. I'm talking the way you see the world exactly. Nobody else sees the world exactly the way you see it. So who's the source of it? Does that word source communicate here well? Yeah. Who's the author? Who's creating that world? So that's what we're talking about when we say rackets keep people. See, it's volatility. You know, I left the country with volatility, I'm now here, and if you complain, it's going to take something away from you. So there's 3 elements. It's an unwanted condition. That's clearly an unwanted condition, right, Nolan? Okay, good. And it persists. Okay. Here's why persistent complaints hang around. Because you're getting a payoff. You're getting something out of it. You're getting what? What do you get out of complaining that there's too much volatility? You see? because you have to get something out of it. It will not persist. I don't mean that there's not a fact. You know, if you look, okay, the volatility, but can you get me a box of too much volatility? No. Ah, well, let's take a look at that, right? And I'm not, listen, if I was here, I'd end up with this racket too. Do you know what I mean? If I was you, I'd have the exact same racket. In fact, coming from another place, it's just more of the same. But here's too much volatility. Okay. You want to see the payoffs, or can you see them? What are you getting out of complaining that it's too much volatility?
I think one is that there's a kind of community effect. If everyone agrees that there's too much volatility, there's this comfort in numbers.
Yeah, listen,
that,
if there's...
you know, it's terrible, yes,
Yes,
you
terrible.
agree, and then there's this sort of comfort associated with that, I think.
Yes, so one way I like to say it is you get to be right, and you find other people who share in, they get to be right, and you make others wrong. I mean, who are you making wrong that there's too much volatility? Because if you're getting to be right, you got to make somebody wrong. Who are you making wrong that there's too much volatility? This is how you transform a persistent complaint. So if you stay with this, this one here could alter your entire life. Your career, your business, your country. Yeah. Yeah. What's that? Okay, good. You're making the politicians wrong. Who else are you making wrong? Everybody else. That's right. Now you got to make everybody else wrong. Okay, good. Here's another payoff. You get to dominate people with this. And I'm not blaming you, because like I said, leaders are racket-free. And almost nobody is racket-free until they begin to get the distinction racket. Because we so are swimming in this racketeering all the time. It's ordinary. It's the air we breathe. You see? So you get to dominate, and you don't have to be responsible for the volatility. Hey, it's not my thing, that's their thing. Okay. You also will justify yourself. Does that make sense? You're looking, right, Nolan, as we're talking? You know, I'm not blaming, if I was you, it'd be the identical. You get it? So you justify yourself and you invalidate other people. It's just the nature of it. The fourth one is you get to play the game, you get to win the game you're playing, and everybody else gets to lose. But the truth is you're going to lose. Okay. So far, so good? Now, okay, when you look at that, you could say, well, okay, there's nothing wrong with those payoffs. But then we're going to take a look at what is it costing you? So, Eric, can you fix this one up? He's ready to go. There's too much volatility, right? Yes, please. Yes, please.
It's the compassion of the others. You know, misery loves company.
Oh, yes.
If we all complain about the same things, we feel better that we all complain about the same thing, you know?
We call it being a shared racketeer. In fact, you look for people who share the same racket with you, and then you go out and celebrate the complaint.
Right.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So far, so good? Nolan, you ready? Okay, good. So now take a look. Now, this is not an intellectual exercise. This is if you actually experience the cost as you're saying it. We say you break the back of the racket. Okay, ready? I appreciate, Nolan, that you're doing this, because it takes a lot of courage to do this in front of everyone. But this is what a transformation looks like. Okay, good. So what does it cost you? If you really look, what is it costing you to run that racket? There's too much volatility. And you're unhappy. So what is it costing you?
So I think there's energy focused on defining the degree and nature of the problem,
Yes.
maybe not on solving it. But although I don't necessarily believe the two are mutually exclusive, I think you can
Yes.
spend time defining the problem and
Yes.
also time solving it. I mean, it doesn't
Yes.
mean you, but you could, let's say, spend too much energy just understanding,
Right.
defining, discussing the problem.
So it's
itself.
costing you energy. See, now, what you've got is an incompletion that you created. The moment you create a racket, you've got an incompletion. So far, so good? So what else is it costing you besides energy? What's that? Engagement. That's good. That's right. It's costing you engagement. Great. What else is it costing you, Nolan? What's that? Okay, but so if it shrinks your horizon, it's costing you opportunity. Okay, good. It's costing you opportunity. And you said space? Okay, let's put space too. I like that. Not many people say that. That's very good. It does cost you the space you could operate in. What else does it cost you, Nolan? Vision. Oh, that's very good. Yeah, you can't have vision with too much volatility. Yes, it's impossible. I get that. Okay, good. Let's call vision. How are they doing so far, Nolan? Pretty good? Yeah. Peace of mind. Peace of mind. You see, you've got this thing called there's too much volatility. Who you're being is unhappy. Costs you peace of mind. Yeah. We manufacture these persistent complaints, and then we live into them and have no power with them. So one of the things that costs you is power. Big one is it costs you your power. And joy. And time. Hang on, Eric is going to capture them. Somebody said something here. Yes? Money. Yes. Okay, good. Keep going. Yeah, well, that's the effect of it, but what is it costing you? If frustration wasn't there, what would be there?
That's what power is there.
Okay, would it cost you?
Well, the contrary of impotence, I guess, is power, so it's there.
It's there. Okay, good. What else does it cost you?
It costs you maybe lose people in your organization because people must.
Very good. Yes. Look, there's more organizations we work in where we've had people, when we're doing what we call an interview process, not interview, but an interview, we want to see how they see things. People, I remember one company where they said, this is the culture from hell. That's a heck of a interpretation. Yeah, and it will cost people. Yeah, it'll cost people. What else? What's that? Confidence, good. What else does it cost you? Nolan, any others that come to mind? So far we're doing good? Okay, there's a couple more. What's that? Clients. It could cost you clients. Great. What else? Anybody else? There's enough, right? Yes, usually You're not interested to have a racket on this anymore. But here's the thing. The leaders don't run rackets. You can't run a racket and lead a future that hasn't happened yet at the same time. You can't put those two in the same place. Does that make sense? And this is not that you're not a leader. I'm just saying as long as you're running that racket, it's going to cost you, Eric, being a leader. And it's going to cost you your leadership effectiveness. We did some work with a company in Poland, and when the CEO of the company got this, she made a commitment to begin to develop a culture that's racket-free. She knew it was impossible that it would be completely racket-free, but it's kind of like it was worth it for her to begin to transform that culture. You see? Yeah. And as a leader, if you're not standing for the culture being racket-free, then you have to be standing for it. It's okay to run the rackets. Yeah. And I know you can't control people. You can't control what comes out of their mouths. But people will pay very close attention to what comes out of your mouth. And you may not know it's a racket that you're saying, but if you give permission to yourself to complain, you have granted them permission to complain too. It's the nature of it. Monkey see, monkey do. I watch you, I do what you do. Yeah. Make sense? Yeah. Anything else about that? So pretty good? Any questions from anybody? Questions? Okay. Now take a look at this. Now you see the whole thing. I know it was just a little complaint. There's too much volatility. But now look at it. Look, you're looking at the same thing through a distinction. Racket. You're going to go, listen, it's embarrassing for me. I used to have a racket with my wife. She doesn't communicate. Do you know how, can you believe a male says that to a woman? That's like cuckoo. And then I realized I never shut up long enough for her to say something. Running that racket. Yeah. Okay, good. So now you get to see. You want to run this racket? No problem. This is what you're going to get out of it. This is what it's going to cost you. Great. And that's the game. Now, if you take responsibility for this racket, that you're the author of it, you see, that allows you to, that alters the location of there's too much volatility from here, like a future to live into. Now you're putting it in the past. Because you're saying, I take responsibility for running that racket. I'm the source of it. Not this thing outside of me called volatility. Welcome to the world. Out here in the world, there's volatility. Isn't there? Yeah, that's the way it is, isn't it? And it doesn't look like it's less, it looks like there's more. Yeah. Okay, good. So, Nolan, anything you want to say? Because you've been fabulous just kind of being with it and looking with it, and you gave us something juicy to work with. Great. How many people in here got value out of this conversation? Great. Tell me what you got. Tell me what you're seeing. Please. Did you want to say something? You just got stuck on. Okay. Okay, good. What are you seeing? Roberto, I know you've got something there.
No, I mean, I'm biased from what I said in the beginning.
Yeah.
I feel that the costs outweigh the payoffs.
Yeah, that's right.
And so
when you see it,
yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, now you have a choice. Run the racket, lead a future. Which one you like to do? See, this one's the past. See, you said this has been here for 2 years. Okay, well, you already got paid for the past. As CEOs, you want to lead a future that hasn't happened yet, right? You want to lead a future that gets realized that's not predictable. Yes? Good. Dan, did you want to say anything? Take a microphone? Yeah. Please.
Actually, if I look on the payoffs, if I ask myself the question, how am I being right and how do I make others wrong? How do I dominate or avoid domination? How do I justify myself and invalidate others? And how do I win and how do I lose? It looks like this is my strategy.
Yeah.
The actual on the court could be business strategy, could be team strategy, could be...
No, that's very good what you're saying.
Do
you hear what Dan's saying? You begin to shape things based off the payoffs. And now you're going to try to fix the volatility. Now you're going to try to come up with a strategy to deal with the volatility, which it's not going to make a difference. Yeah. If it did, you wouldn't have that complaint. But the complaint gets more. The more you work at it, the more volatility you see. Yeah. Okay, good. Who else? Anything you saw? Anything you want to say? Okay, then we're going to let you just take a few minutes. We'll give you 4 minutes. Just go around the table. What did you get out of this distinction called racket? What are you seeing? Not just out of this one, but what are you seeing about running a racket for yourself? Just speak amongst yourself for 4 minutes. Just what are you getting out of it? How much time, Eric? 6-0? Okay.
Value. So value. It's one thing to define.
Eric, what are the other is there any other ones? That's not what I'm saying. Do we have any more complaints?
Yes.
I want to see what they are. Do you want to do more? Do you want to do enough more?
In the actions that actually to also capture what's the strategy for the payoffs. Like you have the strategy for the costs, which is theirs. I don't know if you want to do it.
I don't think we have enough time for that one. What should we put up another one?
No.
That's good enough. Okay, good. Okay, we're not going to do that.
It doesn't fix. I mean, just complaining.
Let me know when time's up, Eric.
There is one more cost there that identified is lowering the mark. Settling for less.
But it's costing you to high performance?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's put that down. High performance. Yes. It's costing you mastery.
Because even in the face of all these costs, it's like a question.
Yes. Okay. How much time, Eric? Oh, you still have 2 minutes. Take more time. Okay. Okay, just wrap it up. Okay. If you can hear me, clap. Just clap if you can hear me. Okay, good. That's how you stop a group. They always wonder, what am I missing? Okay, good. So I want to hear from a couple of people. What did you get out of that? What did you get out of, you shared at your table now, just from a couple of people who want to share in the room. Please, yes, thank you.
We're at the table, sorry, Robert Adelano, representing UPC Romania. So we're at the table, 3 guys representing corporations and 1 entrepreneur. And I just made a point that I think from entrepreneurship point of view, they cannot really afford, having this rackets, let's say, because they have to be on the right-hand side. They have to be to overcome whatever kind of complaints and moaning and the type of negative attitude we might sometime afford to have within big organizations.
Yes, you have a little bit more luxury.
Yes.
Yeah.
So from entrepreneurship point of view, again, I think for them it's obvious that they have to be. The cost is obvious.
Yeah.
And the benefits of overcoming this kind of rackets is beneficial to their business, definitely.
Yeah, no, that's very good. Great. Anybody else? What did you get out of the distinguishing racket for yourself? Anyone else? Okay.